you know, they're pretty focused in at this stage.
Go through this routine, slapping the back and the shoulders, and he's on early this time.
He
before
is.
The 30-second.
Came out on 33 seconds. That's, yeah.
I haven't seen a single other lifter do that, cut it that fine.
No, most of them like to come out and wander around, have a look at everything.
Ralpho, 100 kilograms, third attempt.
And that's a better attempt. They finished the second pull.
Yep.
So, yeah, clearly the weight wasn't the issue. It was a technical problem on that second lift.
So Ralpho completes his 3 lifts in the snatch. We have 7 other competitors. We'll now move right up, big jump there to 105 kilos. Dejadamo from Nauru, the first of the lifters from Nauru.
Well, he's gone up to 110 kilograms, and this changes the attempts. We're now going to see Salinas come out on 110. Salinas from Chile, and he's gone up as well. So it's back to the Nauruan lifter on 110.
So Dedadamo from Nauru, 110. Already a bit of strategy early on in the competition.
Yeah, exactly. Even though they're well down in the, you know, in the order, you know, you're still trying to do the best you can for your lifter. Still trying to squeeze as much out of the lifter as possible. As I said, one of the things is to try and finish as high as possible in the order. And
presumably the coaches here are setting them up to get close to their personal bests and push themselves there as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dedadamo, Nauru, 110 kilos.
That was a power snatch, so
yep,
plenty in the tank there.
He certainly has. That was a very confident lift.
Yeah, you'll see in the side view that his upper leg is well above parallel when he catches that weight. That's a power snatch, so he's got a lot of strength, a lot of power. Yeah, didn't get anywhere near the bottom position.
No.
Yeah, you were talking about setting people up for PBs and things. I mean, my strategy is if a weightlifter has a PB of say 120 kilograms in a snatch, I will probably start them about 7 to 8 kilograms below that PB total. So first lift should get it, second lift a couple of kilos below PB, and then you know, maybe a 1 or 2 kilo PB on the third if they're good enough.
Salinas Delgado from Chile, 112 kilos on the bar. This is his first lift in the snatch. Watching the 73 kilogram Group B at the Junior World Weightlifting Championships.
Pretty solid overhead, a little bit of a stagger, but you know, pretty solid overhead.
So Delgado's on the board. Good confident start for him there at 112 kilos. Quite a disparity in the starting weights listed for these as we watch the replay.
Yeah, a little left shoulder a little bit out in front of the right, but you know, just enough to keep the weight back over behind the head, stabilize it.
So as I was saying, quite a disparity between the early lifters of Joshua Ralpho and someone like a Jerome Smith from the US, who starting weights listed 31 kilos heavier than
there's
Ralpho.
Probably 3 groups here. We had, you know, Joshua lifting first, and then we've got a few people around 110, 115, and then we've got the top guys 120, 130 plus. So it's sort of a 3-horse race.
Yeah, looks like Dedadamo will follow up.
Yeah, his countryman's gone up a kilogram. Whether that's tactical to push his countryman out, I don't know. Maybe there's a bit of rivalry between the two.
And Salinas Delgado from Chile too has put his weight up to 116 kilos. So the honours with Detudamo from Nauru. This will be his second lift. Men's 73 kilogram Group B, 115 kilos on the bar.
Again, very powerful. Didn't hit the bottom again. Makes it look easy when you do it that powerfully.
Well, he's thrown the gauntlet down to his countryman, Duguapa.
Interesting thing technically with this fella, he bends his elbows a little bit too early for my liking. He bends them probably midway between knee and the waist, you know, which can sometimes reduce the amount of power he can put on the bar, but he's clearly got a lot of power in reserve. So, you know, it works for him. Again, another quirk with an athlete, early elbow bend. Not textbook stuff, but works for him.
Well, it's worked for him today in the snatch. He's 2 from 2. And we see his teammate, Duguapa, countryman from Nauru as well. He's got 116 kilos in the bar.
Technically much more orthodox than his countrymen. Arms straight for a long time, showing a lot of patience there. But again, good power, good lockout. Feet arrive early.
Seeing the replay here from the side angle.
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good.
Nicely centered under that. And a good strong opening lift there from Duguapa. Salinas Delgado from Chile, his second lift. 116 kilograms on the bar.
Yeah, a little bit of change of back angle as he came off the ground. Sitting behind the bar, no doubt. We see it from the side, sitting behind the bar and then getting over the bar at the knees. You know, again, that's a quirk that some lifters have. You're not going to change that if he's, you know, successfully getting lifts. See him sitting behind the bar, then out over the bar when the bar gets to the knees, which is the correct position to be in. Helicopters a little bit because that left shoulder's in front of the right shoulder, but stabilises it. Good lift.
Very, very similar to his first lift, wasn't it? Just that slight turn of the body, a couple of steps forward to stabilise himself.
Yeah, he's obviously got a flexibility issue in his left shoulder, I'd say. Maybe a previous injury.
So, first appearance in the snatch for Peter Kudlasik from Poland. 120 kilos on the bar, getting a bit of support here from large contingency of Fijian school children.
He's a great favourite, even though he's from a long way away. Maybe they like his suit.
Nice bow to the crowd.
And again, that's a pretty common technical snatch from Middle European countries, Polish countries, Czech countries. They all seem to do that similar type of snatch lift. It's a very solid receiving position. Technically really good. Very quick feet, so they establish that base of support when the weight finally arrives overhead. Very important to get your feet to land before that bar starts to come down.
So Kudlasky is on the board at 120. And Duguapa from Nauru back out for his second lift. He's also getting a bit of support here from the vocal crowd. Duguapa, 120 kilos. second attempt.
Yeah, strong lift.
He's also got that slightly hyperextended left elbow, hasn't he? We see from some of the lifters.
Yeah, he's got quite long arms. Quite long arms.
He seems to have a wider grip than his countrymen, doesn't he, to compensate for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Long arms, wider grip. But he's technically very good. Kicks his arms really straight for a long period of time. Very straight bar path. His feet move to the side, so it's a very proficient and efficient movement. That's why he gets it. Technically very good.
Yeah, and he's 2 from 2, 120 kilograms. The second lifter to be successful at that. And now for his final lift in the snatch section of this men's 73 kilogram Group B event. Coming to you from the Junior World Weightlifting Championships in Fiji, we have Yue Detodamo from Nauru, 120 kilos on the bar.
So watch his early arm bend compared to his compatriot. Yeah, just not quite enough power to pull that bar back over his head.
Yeah, you can see that as the way he lifts it, with the arms bending very early, as you said before.
Yeah, look, there's an expression in weightlifting: when the arms bend, the power ends. A lot of the acceleration of the bar above the knees comes from contraction of the trapezius muscles, and if you have your arms bent, then you automatically shorten your trapezius muscles, so you're not giving them enough chance to contract and accelerate that bar above the knees.
Well, it's something to work on there for Detodamo. Back live now, we're with Salinas Delgado from Chile. His third and final lift in the snatch section. He's got 120 kilos on the bar as well.
Oh, stabilise it. Well, beautiful. Looking at the referees. Doing a bit of a helicopter, but managed to stabilise it, and he got it. 3 out of 3. Well done.
And you think that's a shoulder issue that he's rotating there?
Clearly. His left shoulder is obviously not as flexible as his right, so the weight is out in front on the left side, so, you know, it'll get a bit of momentum up, and that'll just pull you around with it.
See there, there's the twist there.
Yeah. But he's strong enough to fight it.
Yeah, he did very well there. And
I mean, it doesn't matter where you're facing at the end of the lift. You can be facing towards the back of the room, but as long as the bar, your chest and your feet are in line, the referees will give you a down signal.
Well, I suspect if he gets much heavier there, he will be facing the back of the room.
Yeah, and he may continue then around to face the front again.
That'd be impressive if he could do 360 with 120 kilos above his head.
I've seen it happen with a bit more than that, actually. It's scary too.
Yeah. You'd be sitting there watching, just thinking, please stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Peter Kudlastik from Poland.
Pretty conservative second attempt, 120 to 123.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that. Most of the men seem to have taken at least 4 to 5 and sometimes 6 kilo bump for their second round.
Yeah, and his first attempt looked pretty good, so maybe he hurt himself in that first attempt, who knows. It's pretty strong.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the thinking there is with the coaches, but I suppose they've got their own strategy.
Well, taking those two lifts together, you have to say it feels like he's underselling himself a bit there, because he's looked pretty comfortable with both of them, hasn't he?
Yeah, look, I think at this body weight, at 73 kilograms, most men would take a 5 kilogram jump at this level.
Yeah.
And look, he's technically good. It doesn't appear that he's injured. He's not struggling to get underneath that weight. The shoulders aren't moving, the elbows aren't unlocking.
Maybe that bow's taking a bit out of him.
Maybe, yeah.
So we're waiting for Sato here. 125 kilos on the bar. This will be his first lift in the competition. We still have Jerome Smith from the US to enter, and Nguyen from Vietnam. Probably get down to a battle between those two in the snatch, you'd think, Smith and Nguyen.
Well, yeah, and this fellow Sato's bumped his start up by 5 kilograms, so he's inched closer to Jerome Smith from the USA. Maybe they're trying to put a bit of heat on Smith. Maybe he's had a really good warm-up, this fella.
Well, he may well be feeling confident because he was out there, he was in the race there before they'd even started the clock and called him, so
yeah,
he's keen to get out there.
Yeah, that's a strong attempt. I watched him in training the other day. He snatched 120 in training the other day fairly easily. So I'm not surprised he started on 125. He looked very strong there.
So Kotaro Sato from Japan. 19-year-old from Japan.
Be interesting to see what Smith starts on.
You think he'll go with that 126, or he might lift that to 130?
I don't know. It depends how he's going in the warm-up room. He's only down to start 1 kilo above Sato in the jerk as well. So maybe they just want to get something on the board first, stay ahead. You only have to win by a kilo.
True. Taguape from Nauru, 125 kilos, third attempt in this snatch.
Not enough pull, so, you know, obviously the weight's too heavy there. Probably never attempted that in a competition by the look of it, I'd say.
Well, he's posted 120 kilos in the snatch, so be reasonably happy with that. Had 2 really good lifts.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I don't know what his PB is, but, you know, 120 is nothing to be snoozed at. That one was not pulled enough by a long way. Smith's nominated to start on 126, but it looks like the pole is going to come out now.
Taguape, I'd say, was in his PB territory. He lifted 120 kilos at the Arafura Games a couple of months ago. So,
he's lifted the same.
Yeah, so he's matched what looks like his PB when you look through his competition history.
And look, there's a lot of competition stacked up close together nowadays in weightlifting. I mean, you know, normally you would have at least a 12-week training block before you go into any other competition. So, you know, to go in consecutive competitions that close together. So Smith has gone up. Smith's gone up to 128, I think, and that's just pushing out good lash reach again. Again, conservative jumps, 3 kilogram jumps, and he looks like he's got a lot more in him than just 3 kilos.
Yeah.
But, you know, there could be a strategy.
Well, he lifted 131 kilos at the Junior Championships, the European Junior Championships last year. That was in the 69 kilo class. So 126 kilos here.
And that's, again, it looks...
He's looked strong, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy to do any weightlifting manoeuvre, but if it can be made to look easy, he did. He made it look easy.
Yeah, so I wonder if he's saving himself a bit for a big effort in the clean and jerk, possibly, but...
Well, possibly, who knows? I mean, the coaches would also know what all these other athletes can do. They would have studied the form guide, so to speak, before this competition to see what lifts people have done in previous competitions. So maybe they know something that we don't.
Well, that matched his lift at the Junior World Championships last year of 126 in the snatch. So
at the same body weight, or
at 69 kilos. So
he's gone up a body weight, but hasn't gone up in total.
Yeah, so he weighed in at 68.9, and he's put on 3 kilos here. But not really increased his total.
No.
So Smith, for the first time from the USA, he's got 128 kilos on the bar as his entry weight.
That wasn't very convincing at all. He looked at his hand, then he might have lost his grip on the way up.
It took a long time over the bar there. He didn't seem to be quite comfortable. I don't know that he was happy with the noise in the gymnasium either, but
yeah, look, that happened with the female lifters from the USA, didn't they? They pushed their start weights up, missed their first snatches. Yeah, he dropped his head and his chest in the receiving position. Then he was never going to catch that weight.
Yeah.
So maybe, because Lashic does know something, maybe the US lift, see they're putting tape on his thumb, maybe he's hurt his thumb there in the warm-up. So maybe the Polish coaches saw something out in the warm-up room that we haven't seen. He's going to have to go again, so here he comes.
Well, he'll need to get out there quickly too, because he took 20-25 seconds over the bar. So obviously he's not like the Marshall Islander, who was very quick. He likes to take his time, get comfortable over the bar. Jerome Smith from the USA, second attempt, 128 kilos.
Better attempt. Much better attempt.
You can't escape the feeling that it's a little bit of deja vu there. It's like Weir from the US, who missed her first attempt and then probably gave up 3 or 4 kilos overall then.
I said it's disappointing to miss your first snatch, because that just really, takes the edge off you mentally. You've warmed up, you've trained hard, you come to a competition, you go out in the first lift and you miss it.
Yeah.
You think, what's going to happen now? I've just blown my chance of a PB, possibly a medal, who knows? But you've got to put that behind you, and you've got potentially 4 more lifts, 1 snatch and 3 clean and jerks. Anything can happen.
Just notice the MC here calling for the crowd to be quiet during the lift. I got the sense he was a bit distracted by that.
Yeah,
noise.
He was sort of looking around a little bit. Some athletes don't mind noises. A weightlifting competition, it's not like a football match. It's not as raucous as that, but occasionally babies cry, phones go off, people shout out, people walk in front of you. You've just got to come to terms with it.
Yeah. So Kotaro Sato from Japan, he'll make his second attempt. He was successful at 125. This is his second lift in the snatch. 130 kilos on the bar.
Again, not enough second pull, not enough to pull that bar back behind the head.
Now I noticed him shuffling his feet around there at the start. It didn't look like he ever kind of quite found a comfortable position behind the bar there.
Yeah, sometimes the platforms, although they're supposed to be perfectly level, sometimes they're not. Particularly as the competition goes on, the weight landing in the same place all the time can put a little bit of a, dent in the platform. People, you can feel that. A lot of your sensitivity comes from your feet in weightlifting. So, if you're not comfortable and you start shuffling your feet around, then things will go wrong.
I see his coach there when he came back in, kind of made a little hop, like it was about the planting of his feet. And
absolutely. But he has another go at it.
He does, and he will probably have to.
He's following himself for sure.
Follow himself here.
Because there's only 2 other lifters left, and that's Smith and then Nguyen. If he gets this, if he gets 130, it puts pressure on Smith to get 132, and it puts pressure on Nguyen to get, his starting weight. I noticed he's dropped his starting weight by a kilo.
Yep.
Maybe he's playing it safe. He's dropped from 33 to 32. Maybe He's playing it safe. I don't see what 1 kilogram does really strength-wise, but maybe a tactical thing.
So entering the gymnasium here is Kotaro Sato from Japan. This will be his 3rd lift in the snatch. 2nd attempt at this weight. He's got 130 kilos on the bar.
Oh, that's good, good.
He looked more settled then, didn't he?
Yeah, considering he underpulled the 2nd attempt quite badly, he made the adjustment there. The coaches have obviously got in his ear and told him what he had to do, and he came out and did it. So, you know, that puts the heat on Smith. Smith's going for 132 on his 3rd attempt.
As we watch Kotaro there, we see nice and close to his body. He's a couple of steps forward.
Yeah, I mean, that happens when you've got 130 kilograms above your head. If it's not in precisely the right place, it's going to push you around a little bit, particularly when you only weigh 73 kilograms.
So, for the first time in this competition, we see Nguyen from Vietnam, 132 kilos on the bar. Nice wide grip there.
Yeah, he's quite a tall athlete. Oh, there you go, see?
Yeah, competition pressure.
Absolutely. You know, as we said before this competition started, oh, this guy looks like he's, you know, the hot favourite. Well, in one lift, he's just come back to the field.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a very good attempt, to be honest with you. Underpulls it a lot, doesn't snap the elbows out. He's looking at the weight like there's something wrong with the weights. Well, no, it was the lifter, not the weight.
How difficult is that as a coach when you've obviously got an athlete here who's got to sit through 7 other lifters, basically go to completion in this before he even enters the competition? Is it hard to maintain the edge that you might have in the warm-up?
Oh, no, I think so. I mean, he would have warmed up to this weight hundreds of times in the past, so, you know, he would have hopefully not focused on anyone else in that warm-up room. You just leave it to the coaches to focus on what's going on around you. You just got to focus on the little warm-up platform in front of you and the bar in front of you.
Well, let's see if you can make the necessary adjustments here.
Yeah, he's coming out pretty quickly. He had 2 minutes to prepare, but he's coming out with a minute to spare.
Nguyen, 132 kilos. Yeah, up and under.
Yeah, it wasn't entirely convincing. That left eye looked a little wobbly to me, but, you know, he got 3 white lights.
Well, that does put him in front in this section, only a B section,
well,
so no medals on the line. But
he's still got Smith's got to complete another lift. He's got one more lift, 132, same weight that Nguyen's just done successfully. You see that left elbow? There was a little unlocked there. If we saw that from the front, I think we'd probably see that. But, you know, if Smith gets this, you know, 133, then, you know, Nguyen's got to come out and overtake him.
Well, and if Smith gets this at 133, he's going to look back at that first lift that was a bit sloppy and think,
yeah,
I've kind of really blown the chance there to put pressure on them, haven't I?
Well, yeah, possibly.
He did 127 kilos at the Youth Olympics last year. So he's out beyond some of his competition best. Jerome Smith, 133 kilos, 3rd attempt.
Oh, good lift. That's the best one.
Yeah, and you see the expression on his face there. I think he knows that he's blown the chance to push that higher, doesn't he?
Well, you know, he probably has, but, you know, he's a kilo in front of Nguyen. Nguyen's not being conservative here. He's going for 137 on his third snatch, so he's going for the throat, so to speak. Of course, if he doesn't get it, then Smith's in front. Smith wins a medal in the snatch, gold medal in the snatch. Well, in the B group anyway.
In the division, he'll win the division, Nguyen, he's out beyond his previous PBs too. Admittedly, they were in the 69 kilos. A lot of these athletes have previously been lifting in the 69 kilo class. Of course, those classes changed at the beginning of this year. They're now in 73, but his best at the Asian Youth Championships last year and the Junior Championships was 124 kilos. So he's added a little bit of size. He's up to 72 kilos, 72.2.
Yeah, as you'd expect from a junior lifter. Junior lifters have a much steeper performance trajectory than senior lifters because, you know, clearly they've only been in the sport a short amount of time. So they are still improving at a much more rapid pace.
Nguyen, third attempt, 137 kilos.
And there we see it. You know, dare I say it, that was a coaching error in the call. You know, I would have thought the aim was to maybe get 1 kilogram above Smith, not as much as 4 as they tried then.
So what's the coaching thinking behind putting him up to that? Was that going for a PB? Is that preparing him for something else? Because he lost that over the back, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it didn't even look like.
He steps up onto the platform. Oops, don't go away. The thighs, shoulders, whack him around the ears. And he's on. So he's up early again, 33 seconds.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't appear to be in any great hurry, does he?
No, he's a very, very cool customer. And he'll move into this very quickly. Ralpho, 125 from the Marshall Islands, first lift.
Not too bad.
Yep, got that away.
Yeah, he's a little bit, you know, sort of slower than the other lifters. You can see that. But, you know, speed is important in weightlifting. It's a power sport. You need to be strong and fast. Not many sports you need to be strong and slow in.
No,
weightlifting is probably the epitome of power, where you have to be strong and fast. But he's technically not too bad. Maybe he's very new to the sport. Who knows?
He did a nice, neat job there.
Yeah, it's technically very proficient.
And he's only 18 years old. He's got a couple of years left in the juniors here, so.
And look, Marshall Islands is not a big place. I don't know how many weightlifters there are there, but he probably doesn't have a huge team of people he trains with, and that's, you know, that's part of pushing yourself to bigger weights. You've got to have a team of supportive, competitive lifters in your gym that you train with.
Yeah, and I mean, he's also made some big strides in the last 12 months. The Youth Olympic Games last year in the 62 kilo class, so he's gone up 10 kilos in class here.
Yeah.
He weighed in at 61.6 kilos there, and he's clocking in at 72.15 here. So he's put on 10 kilos in the last 6 to 12 months, and he lifted 80 kilos and 110 kilos at the Youth Olympic Games last year. So he's making some good progression.
Yeah, that's a steep trajectory which you would expect from a lifter who's new to the sport. But, you know, as I said, he's obviously been on a good diet back home. Put on 10 kilograms. I'm glad I don't put on 10 kilograms in 12 months. It'd be a worry.
I would be equally concerned. But, you know, he's lifted up his totals by 35 kilograms in the last 6 to 12 months. So
yeah, that's good.
That's really heading in the right direction for a young bloke, 18-year-old.
And he's maintained technique as well. Even though the weights have gone up, he's technically pretty proficient.
And again, straight out and straight into it.
Yeah, good clamp. And a good jerk too. So he's lifting really well. He's happy. His coach would be happy. And his coach is obviously doing a really good job for him to progress that well and maintain technique.
Yep. Everybody looks happy in that camp. We'll probably see him again here unless he goes up to 135 kilos. But even if he does, Delgado and Detodamo, they may up their entry weights. That looked very convincing, didn't he?
Yeah, pushed forward a little bit in the jerk, but you know, we're probably getting up around PB territory, so technique's going to drop off a little. One of the loaders is very appreciative of his lift. Maybe he's a buddy.
I think the loaders have been very good all championship here. They've been very supportive of all the athletes from all different nations. Very quick to respond to the numerous changes in weights that have happened in some of the categories, and we see one happening again here. So I think Ralpho, we see on camera there, he'll probably buy himself a bit of time.
Yeah.
With Delgado listed to step up to the bar. Well, I'm not sure Delgado's aware of that.
Well, hopefully the coaches are.
Well, it's back to
they've changed him.
Didadamo, so Delgado's obviously gone up a bit. He's gone to 136. I'm not sure that Didadamo knows that he's lifting. Here we go, here he is. Yep.
Yeah. That changed to 136. Sometimes that can be indicative of the weight. The lifter wasn't ready. Maybe they mistimed his warm-up.
Just by that extra 60s, exactly. 90 seconds.
Yeah, one more attempt in the warm-up room.
Detodamo, who looked pretty good in his early snatches. Lifts of 110, 115 and a failed attempt at 120. This is his first attempt in the clean and jerk, 135 kilos. Made him wait a long time.
Yeah, I think the electronic system didn't work there. He got one red light. He looked a little off balance in the jerk, and the jury's, I think the jury's questioning this decision actually. I think they're a bit worried about one of the elbows.
So if we can see that from front on, we might be able to pick up whether there's a bit of an elbow bend there. But they certainly made him wait a long time, a bar above his head.
So the marshal's going over to the table and possibly overruled the decision, I think. It's a bit sus. Yeah, they've overruled it. So he got overruled by the jury.
So he'll be back out there. How disappointing is that for an athlete, the energy that is expended, and he had to hold that for a long time.
Yeah.
Got to come out and do it again.
Yeah, it is. It's hard work. I mean, particularly if he's got to follow himself, you know, which he is. You know, it is hard. It takes, clean and jerk takes a lot of energy out of you. Not so much a snatch, but the clean and jerk does. So, you know, let's see if he can make the technical adjustment here. He needs a bit more drive. A bit more leg drive in the jerk, needs to punch himself under that bar more aggressively.
He's out fairly quickly too, he didn't take much time.
Yeah.
Detodamo, 135 kilos, second attempt.
That's much stronger.
Yeah.
Much stronger.
Got the elbows locked much quicker there, didn't he?
Well, his feet were much quicker, his elbows were much quicker. You know, foot speed in weightlifting is very important. People don't look at people's feet that often. I mean, people who are not trained coaches just look at the bar going above the head, but you know, feet speed is very important. As I said, you've got to get this base of support to land, as you saw there with his clean, before the bar starts to come down. And again, with the jerk, foot speed is very important. You drive with the legs and then move the feet really quickly, which he does.
He's well in position there before the bar gets to the top, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think he's pretty relieved there. He's probably disappointed with that first decision.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, clearly I think it was a no lift.
Yep. Yeah, no, probably correct decision there from the jury to overrule the referees. And we're back with Ralpho now. So this would be a really, really strong finish for him if he can complete this, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he looks pretty, as I said, technically very strong. He's clean, strong, came out of the bottom well then. Well, he looks like he's going to black out to me.
Yep,
no, he's going to black out.
He is.
He's going to black out here. No, he's back in the land of the living. Oh, just. Oh. Well, I don't know how he did that because he was clearly in the land of darkness there for a while.
The eyes glazed over even from here, didn't they?
Well, he was wobbling and it was good effort. Good effort.
So that's a good competition for him. This guy has put 10 kilos on in the past 6 to 12 months. He's gone up substantially in weight divisions. And he's 4 from 6 here.
Yeah, as you can see, he's starting to wobble, the elbows, the legs. Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
Everything's going there, isn't it? Eyes are closed.
Yeah.
Back live now with Salinas Delgado from Chile. 136 kilos on the bar. His opening lift in the clean and jerk.
Easy clean.
Got to watch for the little left twist here.
Yeah.
Oh, much straighter.
He's much straighter in the jerk. He rotated a little bit in the clean, but his jerk's pretty good.
Yeah. And he bounces off the stage too, so I think he's pretty happy with that.
I
135 kilos was his best.
Well, he's just done a 1 kilo PB
at the Copa International in the 69 kilo class, so he's also gone up a bit.
Very good jerk. Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to have to follow himself, though. So unless he goes to 141, he's going to have to follow himself. I think if I was the coach, I'd be pushing him to 141 to make the Nauruan come out again.
I think that might be what's going to happen here. We see the Nauruan, Delgado preparing here. So Delgado's pushed the weights out. We're still waiting for confirmation of that on the board.
Yeah, there it goes now, 141.
Yep, so he's bought himself a bit more time. Delgado. And we now pass to Delgado from Nauru.
Well, things might have changed. You know, the Chilean's still sitting down, so Delgado's got to do this. 4 out of 6.
You would think he would get this given that 135 lift and given just the disappointment of missing that first one. This really should be kind of...
Well, yeah, he improved things a bit in that second lift. He woke up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, strong jerk.
Yep.
That's one thing about the lifters from Oceania have incredibly strong jerks. You know, if you think you're a long way in front in the snatch, well, hang on to your tickets because they're going to mow you down in the jerk.
And what's that come from? Is that a coaching thing? Is it an attitude thing? Is it
I don't know. Maybe it's a genetic thing. I don't know. But they all have very strong jerks. The oceanic lifters.
And he's very quick feet here.
Yeah, very quick.
Yep, nicely
And
under
straight.
bar.
And
Very straight up. And we're back with Delgado now live. 141 kilos. This is his second lift in the clean and jerk section. First attempt at 141 kilos. Keeps it nice and square this time.
That's a strong jerk, and he was actually doing something pretty clever there. He was oscillating the bar. You're supposed to, the lifter himself has to be still, the bar doesn't have to be still, but he was actually cleverly using his body there to get the bar to oscillate before he jerked it, and he timed the jerk well to coincide with the bar whipping up in the air.
See if we can pick this up in the replay. So kept it nice and square there, didn't he?
You can see the bar moving, it's wobbling,
Yep, and he just times that perfectly on the up, doesn't he?
Good weightlifters will use that to their advantage. In the not so long ago days, that was deemed an illegal movement to oscillate the bar. But nowadays they say, well, the lifter, as long as the lifter's still, it doesn't matter if the bar's actually still moving, as long as the lifter is still.
So how do they define stillness of the lifter? Is that through the body, or obviously if you're moving your arms?
Yeah, I think you've got to be still. Everything's got to be still.
So Duguape from Nauru. First attempt, 145.
And again, very strong jerk.
Yeah.
Typical of the Oceania countries.
So Duguape is on the board now, 145. He's actually, for a brief moment, the leader in the clean and jerk.
Very strong second pull.
We still have 4 athletes yet to enter the competition, and Delgado will finish out here. This will be his third lift. 2 successful lifts so far at 136 and 141. The bar now at 145 kilograms for Lucas Salinas Delgado from Chile.
And he's going for 6 from 6 too. Whoa.
Oh no.
Couldn't rack it in, didn't get the elbows round fast enough. The bar just fell off the chest.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good, 5 from 6.
Yep, he's also had another really good tournament. 135, that would have equaled what he did at the Copa International. Substantially up though on his snatch. So he might be a little disappointed with the clean and jerk, but he was 20 kilos up on his previous best snatch, so recorded in competition. Now I've got Kudlazik from Poland. 150 kilos.
This fellow looks physically a lot stronger than a 150 clean and jerker. Yeah, that was very easy.
Yeah, well, he did lift 166 kilos in the clean and jerk at the European Championships last year.
Yeah.
That was in the 69 kilo class, so he's gone up a weight here. He should be up around in that realm.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Not a massive jump from that 69 kilo category to the 73, so. And probably actually for some of these junior athletes, that move up's come at a good time as part of the natural progression of their growth, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, it's quite a lot of weightlifters who used to struggle to get into the old bodyweight categories. I think these are more, you know, physiologically natural bodyweight categories for men.
Duape from Nauru. His first attempt at 150 kilos, second lift in the clean and jerk competition.
Oh, bit of a wobble in that left elbow. That might get a red light, I think. Yes, it does. Yeah. I don't think they'll be questioning that one. Yeah, if we get a front-on view of that, I think you'll see that pretty clearly.
Yeah.
He's going to have to come out and do that weight again.
It'll be interesting to see if he takes the full 2 minutes. He was very quick back out after the snatch, so.
Yeah, he hasn't even sat down, so maybe they're not letting him sit down. Here we go, so we should see it. I think it's the left elbow almost certainly. See, the elbows at different heights there. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Pops in and out and then it locks, so.
And he gave it away when he walked off the platform too.
Yeah. Oh, I think he knew he'd done it. He wasn't.
But they've put him up. They've put him up to 153. So.
It's not going to buy him in more time, but.
No.
He did seem to handle that 150 okay, apart from the little technical problem he had.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, given that I think he's probably got a pretty strong jerk, I'd say that, you know, he may make this weight.
Well, this would be an improvement by 3 kilos on his lift at the Arafura Games only a couple of months ago. So he's into personal best territory, we'd think.
Strong clean. See what he can do. Easy.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good comeback from him, isn't it?
Well, it is, and I mean, you know, as much as you can, you've got to be able to excuse lifters who are, you know, 17, 18 years of age. They're not new in the sport, so it's pretty good to go 4 out of 6 in an international competition like that, and make the adjustment between the second and third lift.
Yeah, and that total beats his 270 that he recorded just a couple of months ago at the Arafura Games. So as you were saying before, it's hard to keep peaking for these tournaments because they're so regular these days, aren't they?
They are. Very difficult.
Yeah.
And again, yeah, he's taking a conservative 4 kilograms again between his first and second attempts. So I don't know. These are not the sort of jumps and attempts that you'd expect from a weightlifter of this body weight.
No, well, considering it.
And it doesn't seem to be bothering him too much, the lift. So maybe he's bringing an injury into this competition. Who knows?
That's all I can think that he'd explain it, because last year's European Junior Championships he snatched 131 kilos and he cleaned 166.
Yeah, so he's well below that.
Yeah.
Well below it. So you can only assume that he must have had some sort of injury and maybe he's coming back.
So he's currently 17 kilos below the total that he did 12 months ago. So maybe this is part of the rebuilding phase, but he certainly looks very strong with those lifts that he's taken so far, doesn't he?
He does, but I mean that's something you would do on an athlete who's been injured. You would engage then in a bodybuilding, strength building program, rather than submit them to the technical side of the lifts, the snatch and the clean and jerk. So he looks like he's been you know, in the gym pretty frequently there.
I wonder whether the long socks and the band work that he's doing is an indication of what the injury might have been. Maybe
well,
knee,
I don't know. His legs look pretty strong. You know, who knows what it was, but weightlifters, it's usually a back or a shoulder.
So what's that working there as part of his body?
Oh, that's just simulating the clean. He's got some, you know, an isometric type of movement there. He's banded up, so it's loading, and maybe he has had a left knee injury. He's got a bit of a red mark on the front of his knee. Maybe he's had some sort of arthroscopic surgery there.
Yeah.
Not being an orthopedic surgeon, but I can pick a surgical scar.
I should hope so.
Hopefully. Well, my patients don't have scars.
That's right. You pick them, you don't leave them.
That's right.
So on the platform now is Jerome Smith from the USA, 156 kilos on the bar. This is his first lift in the clean and jerk section.
Yeah, so they haven't pushed him up.
Again, takes a long time over the bar.
Yeah, pretty strong. He's not a fast lifter. He's not fast like that last chap we saw, Kudlasic, is fast. This guy is slower, but technically and strength-wise, he's got it.
Yeah, and again, as we saw in the snatch, he was out very, very late there because he takes a long time over the bar.
Yeah.
He did have to get through that a bit quicker this time.
That's not too bad. Front foot could have come out a little bit further, but that's enough.
He's happy with himself.
Yeah.
Give himself a clap.
He's in the race.
He is now. He's got a total of 289, which is so far the highest total posted. We're still waiting for both Sato and Nguyen to enter the clean and jerk.
I see Sato's put his start weight up by 5 kilograms, so he's, you know, he's inching a bit closer.
He's up to 160 now for his start.
So if he gets it, he'll surpass Smith on his first attempt.
No movement from Nguyen as to his start weight. Not that he needs to at this point, but he seems confident with it.
He doesn't need to. If these guys are going to start on 60 and 56 respectively, then he doesn't need to do anything other than get 165, really.
So Kudlasic from Poland, he's only gone up
3 kilos.
3 kilos again on, so they've been very conservative here.
Yeah, I'd say he must be carrying an injury into this competition, so they're probably just getting him back into the competition swing of things, trying to get him 6 out of 6, build the confidence up if he has had an injury. If you look at the front of his left knee, which was the one he had on the band out in the back warm-up room, right in the front of his knee, just below his kneecap, there's a little red mark, which is a little indicative of maybe some sort of arthroscopic surgery he's had.
Got a couple of those myself to compare it to. Good strong lift.
Yeah. So he's happy with all of that.
Yeah, he's happy. And maybe what we're seeing there is the happiness of a man who's getting back to where he knows he should be at this point, rather than one who's setting PBs.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's when people have had injuries, particularly, you know, on shoulders, knees, elbows, you know, the last thing you want is to go out there and think, is something going to break when I get underneath this bar again?
Yeah. And you would have dealt with, I know through your surgical work, many footballers, reconstruction with jaws and stuff, and getting through those first couple of games after you've had an injury like that can be a really big thing for them, can't it? Oh, absolutely, yeah. And, you know, elite athletes have got pretty high pain threshold tolerances, and they've also, you know, they're confident people. But still, there's got to be something in the back of your mind that's nagging away there. Sato, 160 kilos, his first attempt here in the clean and jerk competition.
Very strong. Yeah, that looked pretty strong. Didn't seem to stress him much at all, did it?
No, not at all. So have you had many athletes who've really struggled to get back from an injury, even though physically they're okay?
Not too many. Most of them mentally overcome it. You know, you still hear them sort of whinge a bit about it, but they'll go out on the platform and they'll do what you set the task for. So
Sato
yeah.
looking strong there, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think clearly you wouldn't, if you were at all worried about what these weights were going to do to you, you wouldn't be walking out there attempting these weights. You'd be sitting at home on the lounge chair thinking about it.
Now we're just waiting to see who will be the next lifter on the platform. You see there in shot Jerome Smith. He's listed to go for 162 kilos, but at the moment Sato with the automatic increase is only at 161. So
well, he's pushed himself up to 63 to make Smith lift. Sato doesn't want to come out again following himself.
No. And Smith looked pretty resigned to the fact that he was due up next.
Yeah, look, this is a critical lift for Smith. He's got to get this lift. If he wants to beat Nguyen, he's got to get this lift. Assuming Nguyen gets his first attempt. But this is a critical lift for Smith.
Jerome Smith, USA. Second lift in the snatch. First attempt at 162 kilos. Settles over the bar. He'll take his full measure here.
Pretty strong. And he holds it. That's a good lift. Yep. So, as I said, that's a critical lift. You know, he gets that, and now, you know, Nguyen's got to get 165 if he really wants to win this division. I know it's a B division, but you know, there's some pride on the line here.
Yeah, that's a significant increase, 7 kilos over what Smith did at the Youth Olympic Games last year. And that total of 282 actually puts him from last year is well ahead of that in this competition. Yeah. So that's good improvement for him.
So Nguyen's dropped his start weight by 2 kilos. So, you know, maybe he's
So Van Nguyen from Vietnam, a final lifter to enter the competition here, 163 kilos on the bar.
Whoa. Oh. And there you go, that's the door, that's called opening the door. That wasn't very convincing at all. That's, as I said, that's, you know, Nguyen missing those snatches really has given Smith the edge in my books.
Yeah, well, he missed a couple, and that inexplicable decision to bump it up from 132 to 137 at the last snatch.
I don't understand that at all. Now, you know, Smith is sitting pretty here. He's due to lift last. Nguyen's got to have another go here, unless he puts the weight up above something that Smith's going to do. But you know, to be honest with you, well, they have. You know, what they've gone to 166.
165.
165, sorry. So I would think Smith will put it to 165. That'd be my guess. To push Nguyen out. That'd be my guess.
That's really a risk worth taking for Smith at this point, isn't it? Because
and there you go. They've put it to 165.
He's in the first position at the moment in this group.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Sato's going to take 165. But again, they've put the pressure on Nguyen. That wasn't a good attempt by Nguyen.
Very similar to his start in the snatch, where it was a really poor technical attempt. And
well, it was weak. It wasn't technically good. Oh, forgot to slap him on the face.
They have some funny rituals coming out, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know what other area of life where you get away with slapping someone on the face, but apparently it's okay in weightlifting.
Not many these days.
Rugby league a little bit.
Yeah. You got a little ritual for the Aussie competitors?
Oh, I don't slap them on the face. They'd probably slap me back.
Sato 165 here. Second attempt in the clean and jerk competition.
That's a strong jerk too.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So he's up to 295 now.
Yes. He'll be in second place there by virtue of the fact of Smith getting there first.
First, absolutely. But they've both got one lift left. The new one's got two.
He's very tight there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Bar close to his chest.
Yeah.
Goes nicely straight up here. We can see from the side angle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Front foot's a little short, but he's strong enough to hold it overhead.
Yep.
So he's new, and the pressure's on this boy.
Yeah, he hasn't really lifted well. He's only had one successful lift from 4 attempts.
Yeah.
Across the snatch and clean and jerk. So see if he can pull it out here. 165 on the bar, Van de Ven.
Yeah, and they've put his weight up, so he'd be feeling it emotionally. Well, comes out of the clean well.
Yep.
Oh, and he gets it.
Let's wait for the judges.
Yeah, so
No
a little bit
problems.
of gambling by the coaches, and the lifters come through.
So that puts Nguyen actually into first place now.
Yeah, it does. He's, what, 2 kilograms up, I think, on Smith.
Yep.
So Smith's got to beat him by 3 kilos.
So Smith's
got
bumped
to
the bar
do,
up to 167 now.
Yeah, that's the push.
But we're still waiting on
Kato
Sato
out.
to declare a weight here. You wouldn't think that he would make an attempt at 166.
Yeah, Smith will. Surely they're going to put Smith up, no? Yeah, surely they're going to put him. No, they're not.
Well, they put him up from 162, 167. That'd take him to 300 total.
Yeah. So
that puts the pressure then back on Nguyen to
absolutely
add 4 kilos to. He'd have to go to 169 to win.
Maybe I wouldn't have pushed this guy to 167. I would have pushed him just enough to get in front, but well, we'll see.
Well, we saw what happened in the snatch when Nguyen went for the 5 kilo increase rather than the 3 kilos that would have put him just in front.
So let's see how much he wants to win.
Jerome Smith, USA, 167 kilos on the bar. Final lift in the clean and jerk.
Well,
too much for him.
Yeah, I'd say he's never attempted that weight by the look of that. So Nguyen's in the box seat.
So Sato is loading up at 168 and Nguyen is 170 on this. You see Sato. Couple of slaps. He's looking pretty relaxed, I must say.
Yeah.
He's been quite good through this though. Apart from that one miss in the snatch at 130 that he quickly corrected.
If I were the Vietnamese coaches, I would have just put Nguyen up to 169 and waiting to see if this guy gets it. Because if he misses this, they don't need 170. Even though he's in front. gets it.
Looks good from here, but
Yeah.
wait for the judges. Yeah, 3 white lights, so he's very happy with that.
Well, that's 298.
That's a significant increase on his lift in the World Youth Championships. That's 2 years ago, and a lower weight division, but certainly a lifter on the up and up.
Yeah, you see they've dropped Ewan back now to 169. They had him on 170, but they've dropped him back to 169, which is what he needs to win. He only needs to beat Sato by 1 kilogram.
Well, at the moment, Sato's in the first place.
He is.
Smith in 3rd place. That won't change for Smith, but 1-2 could certainly change in this division, couldn't it?
It could. And, you know, his first lift wasn't convincing. His second lift was better, but... Ooh. Struggled big time.
Wow.
And there you go. I'd say the 3rd snatch is the thing that took him apart.
Yeah. So we look back on that, and at the time we were concerned about that decision, but it seems to have had a bit of an impact, doesn't it? Because all he needed was 2 kilos in that above what he'd done, and that would have been enough here.
Correct. So yeah, I'd say you know, it's pretty easy to be smart in hindsight, but that's